They found her body at the edge of the cliff, arms stretched toward the sky like she was reaching for something no one else could see. The police ruled it an accident. The town called it a tragedy. But her daughter knew the truth. Her mother didn't fall. She flew. Mara had always been different. Even as a child, she would stand in open fields with her eyes closed, whispering words that made no sense to anyone listening. Her classmates thought she was strange. Her teachers called her distracted. Her own father left when she was 7, telling her mother that he couldn't live with a child who talked to things that weren't there. But Mara never stopped. She whispered to the wind, and somewhere deep inside, she believed it heard her. Years passed. Mara grew into a woman who learned to hide her gift behind silence. She married a man who didn't ask questions. She had a daughter named Lily. She worked at a bakery in a town so small that everyone knew everyone's secrets, except hers. She smiled when she was supposed to smile. She laughed when laughter was expected. But late at night, when the world was asleep, she would stand by her bedroom window and whisper into the darkness. And the curtains would move, even when the window was closed. Lily was 6 when she first saw it happen. She had woken up thirsty, padding down the hallway in her small bare feet, when she heard her mother's voice coming from the kitchen, not talking, whispering. Lily peeked around the corner and froze. Her mother stood in the center of the room, arms raised, whispering words in a language Lily had never heard. And around her, the air itself seemed to dance. Papers lifted from the counter without being touched. The flames on the stove candles bent sideways. The wind chimes outside rang wildly, though there was no breeze. Lily should have been afraid, but she wasn't, because in that moment her mother looked more alive than she had ever seen her. The next morning, Lily asked her mother what she had been doing. Mara's face went pale. She knelt down, gripped her daughter's shoulders too tightly, and said, "You didn't see anything. Do you understand me? You didn't see anything." Her voice shook, not with anger, with fear. But Lily had seen, and she couldn't unsee it. As Lily grew older, she watched her mother shrink. It was like watching a fire slowly suffocate under a heavy blanket. Mara stopped standing by windows. She stopped whispering. She took pills the doctor gave her for anxiety, for depression, for sleeping, for waking up. She became a ghost in her own home. And Lily's father, a man whose love was conditional on normalcy, seemed relieved. Then one autumn, everything changed. Lily was 16. Her grandmother, Mara's mother, died suddenly. At the funeral, Lily found a box in her grandmother's attic. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all written by her grandmother, all addressed to the wind. The letters told a story Lily had never heard. Her grandmother had the gift too. So did her great-grandmother, and her great-great-grandmother. A long line of women who could speak to the air itself, who could ask it for things and receive answers. But each generation had been told to hide it, to suppress it, to pretend they were normal, because the world does not forgive women who hold power it cannot understand. One letter stood out. It was written a week before her grandmother died. It said, "I have lived my whole life afraid of what I am. I silenced myself to make others comfortable. I taught my daughter to do the same. And now I see her dying inside, just as I did. If you ever read this, know that the wind does not forget us, and it is still waiting." Lily brought the box to her grandmother. She placed it on the kitchen table and said nothing. Mara stared at it for a long time. Then she opened it. She read every letter, and when she finished, she looked at her daughter with eyes that were no longer empty. "I forgot who I was," Mara whispered. "I spent so many years being afraid that I forgot what it felt like to be free." That night, Mara walked outside for the first time in years without her husband knowing. She stood in the backyard under a sky so full of stars it looked like it might crack open, and she whispered, softly at first, then louder, The wind came immediately, swirling around her like an old friend who had been waiting. The trees bent toward her, the leaves danced in spirals, and Mara laughed, a sound Lily had not heard in over a decade. But freedom comes with a price. Mara's husband saw her that night. He watched from the window, horrified, as his wife stood in the yard surrounded by a wind that touched nothing else. He called her insane. He threatened to have her committed. He said she was dangerous. And in his fear, he gave her an ultimatum. Stop this madness or lose everything. Mara looked at him with a calmness that terrified him more than any storm could. I have already lost everything, she said. I lost myself. She left that night, took nothing but a coat and her grandmother's letters. Lily begged to go with her, but Mara refused. You have time, she told her daughter. Time to choose who you want to be. Don't make the choice I made. Don't silence yourself for anyone. For 3 months, no one knew where Mara went. Some said she lost her mind. Others said she ran off with another man. But Lily knew the truth. Her mother had gone to find herself. Then came the call. Mara's body found at the cliff, arms outstretched, no signs of struggle. The authorities said she must have slipped, but Lily knew better. At the funeral, Lily stood apart from the crowd. She didn't cry, she didn't speak. She waited until everyone left, and when she was alone, she walked to the edge of that same cliff. She looked out at the endless sky, and she whispered. The wind came instantly, warm, gentle, carrying with it a feeling Lily couldn't name. It wrapped around her like an embrace, and in that moment she understood. Her mother hadn't fallen. She had finally, after a lifetime of silence, let herself be carried. Lily closed her eyes, and she whispered louder. The wind answered. It always had. It always would. She pulled a letter from her pocket, one her mother had left for her hidden in the box of her grandmother's things. It said, The wind does not judge. It does not demand you be smaller. It does not ask you to hide. It only asks that you speak, and when you do, it will always, always answer. Do not be afraid of what you are, my daughter. The world will try to silence you, but you were born to make the air itself tremble. Lily stood there as the sun set, feeling the wind move through her hair, clothes, her very bones, and for the first time in her life, she was not afraid. She whispered her mother's name into the sky, and somewhere, in a place beyond sight, beyond sound, Mara smiled, because the wind had answered.